Alright, 10 APTAPRMRP01098. Recommended practice for derailment investigation reports approved October 14th, 1998. APTA Press Task Force authorized March 17th, 1990. APTA Commuter Rail Executive Committee. This recommended practice provides methodology and standard form for the investigation passenger train derailments, emphasize obtaining data required for the perform long-term analysis to prevent any future derailments. Keywords: derailment investigation report, wheel, rail, interface, wheel, climb. Alright, copyrighted 1998, American Public Transportation Association, 1666 K Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20006, U.S. No part of this publication may be reproduced in any form or any electronic retrieval of the system otherwise without the prior written permission of the American Public Transportation Association. Alright, introduction. The introduction is part of the APTA-PRM-RP-0109888 recommended practice for derailment investigation reports. During 1996-1997, several derailments occurred with the involvement of the train. Several commuters of the agency in the northeast of the United States, as well as the Amtrak for derailments investigated using the transitional method to indicate the root of cause to determine, however, the cluster for derailments to something to be done. The APTA, the American Passenger Train Association, is it? American Public Transportation Association. Press Mechanical Committee chartered the Wheel Rail Interface Task Group at the study of the derailment development recommendation receiving the occurrence of the future of the major goal of the task group with the work broke down with the tradition middle finger pointing between operating mechanical and track personnel recognize that all three disciplines and must get together in an integrated system. And this investigation requires information beginning with the development of the recommended practice for the Wheel Rail Interface for the task group. The found little useful information available to the task group assigned responsibility for developing a standard form to collect for the pertinent data information for the low speed derailment work group. The initial focus of the work group was solely low speed with the wheel climb or derailment. The general concern for the occurring speeds under 20 miles an hour. Work progressed on the form as it became clear that the investigation form was applicable to derailments of all speed. Hence, the word low speed have eliminated from the final version. Recommended practice designed to achieve the following objectives: provide common derailment investigation form and ensure for the collection of the data for the past derailments for the purposes of analyzing the corrosion of the derailments, preventing a reoccurrence. Integrated mechanical equipment operating departments of responsibilities during the derailment investigation. Our participation in the recommended the practice prepared with the low speed derailment work group of the American Public Transportation Association Press, the Mechanical Committee with the Wheel Rail Interface Task Group. The members of the work group participated in the preparation of the document. Mark Campbell, Chair; D. Carter; Chris Holliday; Ali Tajania, Mike Tracino, David C. Warner, P.E. At the time, recommended practices completed the Press Mechanical Committee, including the following members, and I'm not going to go over that. Contents: overview, scope, purpose, reference, definition, use of the derailment investigation form, cover sheet with the weather, operational scenario, track of the derailment point, equipment, additional remarks, the historical data location, derailment database, and Annex A informative, Annex B informative. The APT PRMRP 01098 recommended practice for the derailment investigation and reports overview. 1.1 scope: the product of the document to provide with the structure, systematic method of the investigation of derailment through the use of the standard instruction data form for the performance built with existing derailment investigation procedure with the use of the commuter agency intercity passenger railroads intent with the complement of the notice of receipt with the procedures already in place. The passenger railroad phase and recommended practice into the practice for the 6-month period of July 1st, December 31st, 1999. The recommended practice took effect of January 1st, 2000. Purpose: the American Public Transportation Agency Association established the derailment database archiving the information gathered with the form submission for the information of the American Public Transportation Association inclusion with the database voluntary encouraged. Information from the American Public Transportation Association database will be accessible to all American Public Transportation Association members. This database will facilitate and analyze the derailment caught with the goal of preventing a similar incident with the further reference of the 3 definition 4 using derailment investigation form. Alright, the derail investigation form Annex A is divided in the following major sections. Cover sheet, operational scenario, including weather, track, equipment, and additional remarks. Detailed guidance for each of the blocks for the Annex A are connected with the Annex B. The derailment investigation form and instruction. The derailment occurred with the supervisor interchange for the investigation will take a copy of Annex A and Annex B to the scene. The supervisor responsible for filling out with the cover sheet, ensuring the other section properly completed with representative of the operation mechanical track departments will be given the respective sections to Annex B and Annex B to fill out. Each section contained with several standalone sheets of facilitating, handling to enable the further distribution of the sheets among investigators. Once all the sections have been completed, the investigator supervisor will assemble and continue analysis per individual operator, instructing the investigation complete with a complete copy of the complete form will be distributed in accordance with the railroad procedure. In addition, with the recommended the copy sent to the American Public Transportation Association for the entry of the American Public Transportation Association derailment database. Cover the sheet. The cover sheet provides the location record of the basic information for the derailment, such as the time, date, time, and the general location specified. Space provided with the agency specific information for to weather and operation scenario. A portion of the forms contains 2 pages of a brief sent after the weather condition, including the following information associated with the operation of the train. In this section, consists of the train not captured, along with the type of the movement, the deadhead. The second page, this section provides the room with a stretch for the track layout and the car location, attaching the additional sheet for the photos and gauge. 4.3 track and derailment point. The portion of the form that contains 4 separate pages of the general alignment of the track of the derailment location recorded along with the detailed data about the condition of the tires of the rails. The 1 page is devoted to the recording items of it that might have been important for determining the cause of the derailment, such as the recent major activity, unusual conditions like kinks, etc. All information related to the turnout is contained onto the separate sheet with the derailment did not occur on the turnout. This sheet is to be discarded. In addition to the information listed on the 4-track page for the set of the track notes should be attached for the instruction low speed derailment. One of the occurred with the train speed of less than 20 miles an hour. Call for the marking station every 5 feet within instead of the normal 15.5 foot increment. 4.4 equipment. The equipment portion of the form contains 3 sheets. The first sheet contains basic vehicle data, information for the data. It doesn't change for the day-to-day. Vehicle data should be complete with each of the passenger train vehicle for the operator inventory, the van for the derailment, with the derailment that occurred with the supervisor charge for the investigation should relieve it already complete with the form that each of the vehicle type is involved with the derailment. The remaining sheets are structured for the separate the sheets filled out with the vehicles supported with the contribution from the derailment. Some of the information may have been completed once the equipment is moved to the other facility for the investigation. Supervisor responsible for ensuring the data is once occupied has been moved. 4.5 additional remark. The section of the form provides the specific space for the miscellaneous information. Additional sheets, e.g. for the railroad specific forms contained and attached to this section. 4.6 historical data collection. The derailment investigation form is also designed to assist the collection of information for the depots for the derailment to help the American Public Transportation Association derailment database. In the cover sheet with the weather operational scenarios portion of the form of the books within double line, the items are both to be filled out with a reporting provision. Incidents even limited to the information used while attempting to analyze the extent of the particular derailment problem. All right, derailment database 5. The American Public Transportation Association maintained the derailment database. The information archived and made available to the APTA members through the American Public Transportation Association. The database written with the Microsoft Access is searchable by all combination of the attribution of the format of the database, including data entry protocol, will be made available to the American Public Transportation Association members upon request. To file method the access to the database, the American Public Transportation Association members has not been determined. The American Public Transportation Association intends to disseminate the database format for the future data to do assist with the collection of the data. The information may be detained by the American Public Transportation Association. All right, Annex A. The study reference or the agency referencing the Annex A investigation form, the revision date, the reporting agency owner, track, equipment of the person filing the form, name, the number, the incident date, and the time, with the general location, time, equipment type, weather conditions, circle all that apply, dry, wet, freezing, wind, calming, fog, snow, rain, sleet, other, temperature, degrees, outside, operational scenario, location, circle, choice, yard, interlocking bridge or crossing station line, main line, other, train speed, actual RPM posted, RPM mile per hour. Actual mile per hour, posted mile an hour, train handling, power notch on amps, brakes, type of ignition, blending surface, emergencies, emergency indicated location of the brake, initiation, conductor valve, penalty, emergency handle, air cylinder press, and PSI, dynamic notch, amps, coast, Circumstance insert for the deadhead shop of the special or other direction of travel, the east, west, north, south, within the circle of the train, with the movement of the table that consists each of the below of the list of the consist of the road number, the direction of the travel to begin with the top of the left, the circle of the rear derailed vehicle, for the, if the boxcar, baggage car derailed, indicate the car was loaded or empty. For the trains longer than 14 cars, ensure the derailed car when 3 cars either side are listed. Direction of travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Derailment vehicle information for each of the derailed vehicles indicated above. Provide with the following detailed information for the order and the direction of the travel vehicle, for the road number, the vehicle type, the total trucks, the derailed axle trucks, and derailed axle wheels. Alright, operational scenario number 2, movement description. Sketch the track layout, car location, direction of the train movement over the least one train length appear prior to during the incident. No, attached photo of the derailment site included overall to close up with the view of the equipment, the broken equipment found with the track side of the track point with the derailment ties and etc. Track derailment point 1. Attach a copy of the track notes for this form. See the derail investigation construction special guidance. T2 general alignment, the tangent curve, the spiral curve, the direction of the travel, the nominal amount, left or right, radius, the number of degrees, the MCO chord length, mid chord. Special track number none, turnout diamond, slip switch crossover distance between track standard features, super elevation inches, grade, blank percentage is up or down, grade gauge unloaded inches loaded, method estimated LTLF or other, FRA class 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Electrification, third rail, provided with the sketch for the third rail configuration, at least 2 rail lengths before and each for the rail, paying the particular attention to the gap location. Catenary provides sketch for the catenary configuration, at least 2 train lengths before after the derailment point, paying particular attention to the air gap in the face of the break of the locations. Type, ties type. Condition, new, good, fair, poor, fastener, manufacturer type, tie plate, circle, all applicable, left rail, single shoulder, double shoulder, flat, or other canted, right rail, single shoulder, double shoulder, flat, or canted. Bells, condition, good, fair, poor, or other. Alright, your track derailment point 2, left rail type, welded type of weld, insulated, non-insulated section, 136 RE, mil per year, profile number, new or worn, gauge face, dry, smooth, lubricated, contaminated, clean, rough lip, or harsh marks, gauge face, angled degrees, nominal cant, lubrication, trimbo, rating top of the gauge face, and gauge face, type, the distance applied to prior to point of derailment. Right rail type, welded wheel, type of the weld, jointed, insulated, non-insulated section, 133 and 136 RE, middle year, profile new, worn, attached profile, gauge, dry, smooth, lubricated, contaminated, clean, rough lip, harsh marks, gauge angle, gauge face angle, number of degrees, nominal cant, lubrication, tribometer, reading top, and the gauge face type of the distance applied prior to the point of the derailment and number of feet. Alright, general comments. No unusual conditions joint just prior to the end or point of the derailment, twisted dips and kinks, loose joints, and metal with the shape and the deposit, the reason, the maintenance for the work, activity, latest rail grinding, date, and the load taste, so type of last lubrication indicating whether it's advanced track movement under the load with either the vertical or lateral direction. I'll describe how many defective ties were, or if any, were found in the 2 train lengths at the point of the derailment. Train route, circle 2, straight, diverging, facing, or trailing. Location, special location mounted point of the derailment, turnout relatively either point of the switch or point of the frog, 6 feet past the point of the switch on the curved stock rail, and type, frog number, the curve of the straight, and the symmetrical, asymmetrical, tangential, type of switch point, undercut hose top, straight, curved, or other type of the frog number, straight, immovable point, self-guarded curve, turnout comments. Alright, equipment 1, vehicle data sheet. This should be filled out with each of the type of the vehicle owned by the railroad, kept on file with an appropriate chief that shall be made with available to the derailment investigation team. Vehicle type, the propulsion system, minimum design, radius, feet and feet, nominal coupler swing and the degree, the distance of the coupler pivot of the pulling face in inches, distance of the coupler pivot, coupler pocket exit in inches, the width of the coupler shank in inches, the top of the truck type, the truck wheelbase in inches, and the primary suspension type, nominal wheel diameter in inches, the truck swing pivot, A and B end degrees, the designing wheel unloading percent, truck mounted lubricated flange tread none, equipment and sketch the use of the block of the switch sketch the equipment and axle wheel configuration shown the BF and A end of the direction of travel. Equipment 2, vehicle fill out the separate sheet for the vehicle suspected of the contribution of the derailment. All coupler trucks with all derailed vehicles must be inspected. The coupler of all of the vehicles not derailed, but immediately adjacent to the derailed vehicles must also be inspected. Vehicle number, the AN, vehicle end of the end derailed. Check the appropriate box. Coupler inspection. Check the box for the complete. Damage, okay. AN and swing, okay. Pocket damage. Stop clearance. Left side, right side. Trucks derailed. Check appropriate box. Serial numbers. Primary suspension. Okay. Leveling valve configuration 1-2-1-2. All air springs left side, right side, left side, right side. And side bearing clearance left side, right side, left side, right side. And center bearing condition okay. Pedestal liner condition okay. Last overhaul month of the year. Equipment remarks note the defects of all the items not checked in the okay above box. All right. The equipment number 3, has the right R1, R2, 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 L2, R3, L3, R4, L4 for the 3-6-wheel, 3-wheel derail vehicles. Profile AAW1 BWF AR1 BNF other. Filling out the form or information suspect with the contribution measuring with the current profile each for the wheel for the attached to the form. You have the car road number, the position, the type, the size, in inches, class, the tread, wear, flange, wear, witness, groove, new, flange, surface, flange, angle, back to back wheels, spacing, minute, miles, months, something change out, location, loot, training, mechanic, machine cutter model. Additional remarks, significant consequences, similar occurrences, reported cause of detachment. Each car sheet has 2 trucks, 6 axles, 12 wheels, or track notes, and 2 couplers track notes. Alright, Annex B, Derailment Investigation Forms, Instruction Derailment Form, line number 11, study reference, leave blank, line number 12, the reference number, the revision number of the form, line number 13, agent for reference, the internal agent for reference number, the file number, the item number 14, line number 14, title of the day of the form, line number 15, reporting agency reporting with the derailment, filling in this form, agent 16, line 16, owner of the put, the owner's name of the blocks, owner 16.1, truck owner, 16, 2, the equipment owner, 17, personal filing, form, note your contact information in these blocks, and the 17.1 name, the name of the person supervising completion of the sheet, 17.2, number of the phone number of the supervising completion of the forms, 18, incident, day of the time incident, 18.1, date of the incident, 18.2, the time of the incident, 19, general location, description, general location for the derailment occurred of the New York Penn Station, track number 2, near switch, 83, etc. 10, equipment is, 110, I-10, equipment type, and describe the type of the equipment involved with the ALP-44, pushing combat cards, etc. Alright, line number W1, weather conditions, circle all the items with appropriate weighing, etc. W2, temperature, outside temperature, operational scenario 1, line 01, location, circle all the items appropriate in station, interlocking, etc. O2, train speed prior to prior braking application. O21, actual train speed from the log of the engineer. O22, tow post of the train speed. O3, training handle. O31, power, what is the power setting the notch in amps. O32, brake. A, if the brakes are applied, no, how were they applied? Start with the brake, the emergency brake was blending the right brake activity. B, the emergency brake indicated how initiated with the conductor valve penalty. The emergency handle the amount of the brake cylinder pressure for the air brake and or notch applied with the dynamic braking. 04, circumstances that indicate the movement the circumstance with the serve the routine was going in the shop of the movement into the yard, etc. 05, direction of the travel, the circle of the train, direction of the time of the table, the direction. 06, consider each of the black individual vehicles, consider the road number, the direction travel. Circle the directed vehicle for allowing the serve of the derailed car, 3 cars to either side of the listed, the box car, baggage car, derailed, indicated the car was loaded or empty. The information could be obtained with the field from the log. Alright, 07, the derailed vehicle information. 071, vehicle number, the vehicle road number. 072, the vehicle type, ALP-44, locomotive, comment, 2 car, 2 cab, comment, 2 cab car, etc. 073, total truck, the total trucks in the vehicle. The 074, total axles in the vehicle. The 075, number of the derailed trucks, the number of the derailed trucks in the vehicle. And 076, the number of the derailed axles in each of the vehicle. Axles, 077, the derailed vehicle, the note with the wheel, the derailed, the convention contained in the E15, operational scenario number 2, line number 08, movable discipline, sketch, track outlay, car location, direction of the train, move it over at least 1 kilometer length with the train prior to during the incident, test photo of the derailment site, including overall close-up view of the equipment and broken equipment, the found on the track side of the track at the point of derailment, ties, and etc. T1 track notes. Attached with a copy of the track notes, enter mid-ordinate load gauge with the cross level to measure at 5 foot intervals above the track car length of the past position of the derailment, 4 car length before the point of the derailment. Simulations are being done to give the general curvature of the cross level of the gauge, also given the lateral vertical deviations for each of the rail along with the track intervals not exceed 5 feet from the 4 car length before the 2 car length after the point of the derailment. T2 general alignment. They indicate the derailment with the tangent curve of the spiral track, the curvature of the track with the curvature of the T3-1 direction of the curvature and direction of the travel. T3-2 the nominal and mount with the nominal curvature degree and radius of the midcore of the offset with the midcore offset given the chord length of the unknown to take the average of the 10 alignment and measurement center at the point of the derailment at 15 foot 6.5 inches stations. Alright, special track work. Indicating derailment with the turnout the diamond with the switch of the crossover to indicate the distance between the truck center. T5 super elevation design super elevation inches. T6 grade put the grade in direction of the appropriate boxes. T7 gauge the measure of the track gauge. T7-1 unload the track gauge. T72 loaded truck gauge underload specified load rerailer crane etc. T73 method use load gauge measurement to the LTLF estimated track geometry car etc. T8 FRA class circle the FRA track class. T9 electrification. If the track is electrified with the vehicles involved with electricity propulsion with the third rail electrification provided with the sketch of the third rail configuration, the last two of the train lengths before and after the derailment point of the paying the particular attention for the gap location catenary system provided with the sketch of the catenary configuration leaf the tooth strength length before and after the derailment point paying particular attention for the air gap the phase of the brake of the locations. T10 ties instructions. T10-2 the type of the fluid etc. T10-2 T10-1 know the type of wood concrete etc. T10-2 condition new tie good season fair play cutting poor lateral vertical sport. T10-3 fasteners no fastener manufacturer type of the cut spike of the pange oil 10 type 10 4 tie plates from left to the right circle. All the items are appropriately described in the tie plates. Double shoulder canton noted. T10-5 ballast condition good and good clean ballast fair or good ballast mixed with the fine material. Poor ballast with lots of fine and mud pumping. Other no ballast road etc. Track derailment point 2. TL left rail TL type of the weld the joint section area with the derailment indicated with the weld filled with the plant weld and jointed indicated with the insulated joint. Not 4 or 6 hole bars and bolts are appropriate. Appeared tight. Alright, T11-2 section, note that the rail side of the section. TL3 mill years, note the roll year with the manufacturer stamped on the rail. TL4, examine the rail profile will indicate the new or the worn measure of the profile with other suitable devices attached to this form. TL5, the gauge face with the circling items appropriate to describe the gauge face, the rail, the dry clean and rough, etc. T11-6, gauge face angle, measured gauge face angle. T11-7, nominal cant, nominal design, rail cant. T11-8, lubrication, use tribometer to measure for the efficiency of the friction of the top of the gauge face with the rail if possible, and include the type of the lubrication location prior to the point of the derailment and feet where applied. TL12 right rail, TL12-1 type of the weld the joint section with the rear of the derailment indicated the weld field weld the plant weld the joint indicated insulated or not 4 or 6 hole bars the bolts appear tight. The T12-2 section note the rail section. Right, rail size and section TL12 3 millimeter. Note the roll of the year the manufacturer stamp of the rail. TL12-4 profile. Examine the rail profile. Indicate the new with the worn. Measure the profile the meter with other suitable devices attached in the form. TL12-5 gauge face. Check all the inappropriate describing the gauge face for the rail. Dry, clean, rough, etc. TL12-6 the gauge face angle. Measure for the gauge face angle. T12-7 nominal cane. Name of the design rail cane. T12-8 lubrication. Use the tribometer. Measure for the efficiency with the friction with the top of the gauge face of the rail with the possible include the type of lubrication prior to the point of the derailment and feet where applied. Our track derailment point 3 line number entitled T313 general comments. Not unusual conditions are provided to and or at the point of the derailment. Twist dips, kinks, loose joints, deposit of the recent minutes weight activity. Latest rail grinding day of the type of the last lubrication set indicated where there was evidence of the track movement under the load of either the vertical or lateral direction. Illustrated how many defective ties of anywhere were found with the true car length at the point of the derailment at 5111. Track derailment at point 4. Alright, T14 train route. Note the train movement throughout the turnout facing straight or move the T15 space the location point of the derailment of the turnout relative to either point of switch for the point of frog. Also indicate the distance between the point of frog, point of switch. Yeah, give me 3 minutes. 6 feet past point of switch for the curved stock rail type and T16 type that include the information during the turnaround, like of the frog number, the switch point straight with the curve, the symmetrical tangent design. 217 type of the switch point, which kind of switch point is location, circle all of the locations where they appropriate types. 18 type of the frog name, note the frog number, the circle all the appropriate items. 219 turnout comments, any comments for the turnout condition, turnout switch, equipment data, vehicle data, the sheet. The sheet with the information filled out each type of the vehicle owned with the railroad kept within the information sheet with the nominal design value of the parameter appropriate sheet to be available to the derailment investigation team. E1 vehicle type of the kind of vehicle, the E1, E2, the E2 of the propulsion system with the propulsion system of the car, diesel or catenary. E3 minimum design curve, the ratings, minimum design curve of the radius for this car of the vehicle the specification. E4 nominal coupler swing of the nominal angle for the coupler can swing from the side to side, and the distance. E5 the distance for the coupler pulling phase for the distance for the coupler pivot and pulling phase. E6 the distance for the coupler pivot and coupler pocket with the distance coupler pivot and pocket over the property exists. E7 width of the coupler shank. The E8 truck type. What is the truck type? GSI, Pioneer, etc. Truck wheelbase. What is the truck wheelbase in inches? Primary suspension system, primary suspension system, truck, the coil spring, chevron, equalizer, metal to metal, etc. E11 nominal wheel diameter. They give it the nominal wheel diameter. E12 the truck swinging the pivot, the valve with both the A and B end of the degrees. The E12 of the E13 design with wheel unload percent level, the nominal weight of the wheel. E14 the truck mounted lubricated truck with the appropriate value. E15 the equipment of the bolt that you operate with the can correlate with the vertical direction A, F, and B end of the axle with the number of the system of your vehicle. Or E16 vehicle number, each of the road vehicle number, the E17 each vehicle end derailed with a check of the appropriate column A and B and end of the both of the indicate the car is derailed. E18 couplers, E18-1 coupler inspection, the appropriate column that indicate with the coupler inspection coupler, each of the derailment must be inspected. E18-2 the damage in the coupler capture for the check for the OK, if the OK does not affect for the equipment, the remarks for the section. E18-3 bearing with the coupler swing through of that turn throughout the range of the motion, check for the OK not all the defects for the equipment, remarks in section E18-14 the pocket, the inspect for the coupler pocket or area for the damage and check if the OK. If the OK is not all the defects for the equipment, the remarks section E18.5 the stop clearance measure for the clearance between the coupler shank with the right and left of the coupler stop to ensure for the measure of the dimension of each side. E19 truck, the E19-1 trucks derailment, and the check of the appropriate with the A and B end of the both to indicate with all the trucks derailed on the car of the E19 serial number, the derailed truck with the serial number, if the sample in the truck ID for the plate with the install with the serial number, the cap of the inside surface of the frame member. E19-3 primary suspension condition, then primary suspension spring with the broken crack, the spring will leave at the bottom of the out of the coil, the broken spring sleeve, the etc. Check of the OK note of all the defects of equipment, requirements, remarks, the section. E19-4 leave the leveling configuration, check of the appropriate box 1 and 2 indicate with the derail track with our air spring with air springs that are controlled by 1 or 2 leveling valves. E19.5 the air springs, inspect the air spring with the flotation of each valve with the derail truck with each of the code with the and not OK with not all the defects equipment and remarks in section. E19.6 side bearing clearance with the measure side bearing clearance each with the derail truck with the entrance with the measure for the distance and the dimension for each with the side center bearing condition. E19.7 inspect the center bearing condition, check with the OK, if it's not OK to note all the defects in equipment. Remarks section 19.8 pedestal liner, if inspect the derail truck with the pedestal line for the cracks or other damage which would inhibit the general housing travel to check the OK, if not OK to note all the defects in equipment. Remarks section E19.9 last overhaul data date with enter the derail truck the number of the overall date with the truck D plate with the maintenance records E20 of the equipment. Remarks into the describing percent of all the defects and items of them as OK. I've literally got one page to read.
Let's go.
Okay, derailed wheels. E21 profile standard, check for the appropriate wheel profile, no other profile used for the railroad. E22 car road number, enter the derailed vehicle and the road number. E23 position, enter the wheel position number, label the top of each column. Wheels are numbered to L1 through L6 and R1 through R6, counting with the B and F at the end of the car. E24 tape size, enter the tape size of all the wheels. E25 class, enter the class designation of all the wheels, a single capital letter stamp of the wheel hub, the front face A, B, or L, etc. Enter E26 tread wheel, enter the wheel rim thickness with all the wheels using the AR standard wheel gauge. E27 the flange wear, enter the flange thickness with all the wheels using the AR standard wheel gauge. A28 witness groove, indicate the witness groove that is important is present with the present record of the depth of the groove. E29 flange surface, enter the surface of the full finish of the description of the wheel flange, dry, rough, smooth, lubricated, scored for harsh marks, etc. E30 flange angle, enter the flange angle with all the wheels measured by the wheel profilometer gauge, the car shop function. E31 back-to-back wheel spacing, enter the back-to-back wheel dimension for all the wheel axle sets. E32 miles and months, enter the appropriate data utilizing shop maintenance since the truing and changing out. E33 location of the last truing, enter the appropriate data utilization shop maintenance records. And E34 machine cutter and model, enter the appropriate data utilizing shop maintenance and records. And then additional remarks are: 1. Significant consequences indicate the significant consequences are 2. Similar occurrences indicate that there are similar type of the derailments to refer to the other reports. R3. Reported cause with a report as cause of the derailment. R4. Attachments indicate attachments with these forms, pictures, drawings, track notes, each car sheet, truck wheels, etc. And that was your APAT, American Public Transportation Association, PRMRP 01098, and recommended practice for the derailment investigation reports.